From Spontaneously Combustible Studio in Cleveland, Ohio, presented by Permanently Geek, this is Uncovered, the show where we compare original versions of songs and cover versions of those same songs and try to figure out which is the better of the two. So we do not know what is under this piece of cloth right here, aside from that it's some song that two different bands played a version of at some point. So, Kevin, would you care to do the honors as far as
Sure.
revealing it this time?
Here we go.
All right. Oh,
Nice.
all right. We have People Are Strange, originally by The Doors, covered by Echo and the Bunnymen.
That's true. All of the Bunnymen were involved, not just Echo.
All of the Bunnymen?
Yep.
Is it pronounced Bunnymen or Bunnymen?
Either way, I suppose.
All right. First question: who has the better band picture facial expressions between the Bunnymen and The Doors?
I don't know, but he's got the best hair.
Yeah, that man. Is that Echo? Is that Echo? I mean, I assume the one with the best hair has to be Echo.
You would think. Him, like, he seems like he's in a different band than these two guys.
Yeah, they're like
these two guys went back in time and found him.
They're like trying to start a 90s boy band, and he's like straight living in the 80s right there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to listen to both of these songs in their entirety. You're just going to hear short clips so he doesn't time travel again and sue us, and we will be right back.
When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no, when you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers.
And we're back. So, you know what's the strangest thing?
People.
People are strange. Primarily when you're a stranger.
Yeah, that's true.
The strangest thing about those two songs, apart from the titles and the people, is that the Echo and the Bunnymen version...
You just like saying that now.
I like saying... as soon as you pronounce it Bunnymen, I will never say it another way.
Silverman, Goldman,
Exactly.
Bunnyman.
Bunnymen. Exactly. But the Echo and the Bunnymen version felt Doorsier than the Doors version.
Yeah, it kind of did. Like, there was that whole middle section, I guess, or like
right. Exactly.
Towards the end, where like they had this long drawn out. Actually, I think the first guitar solo in the song after the second chorus or first chorus, I don't know. There was a guitar solo that I don't think was in the original, and then there was that really long instrumental part that was definitely not in the original,
right.
And
So,
it felt very, very Doors-ish.
So I'm not a huge fan of the Doors, primarily because the solos are just too damn long. Like, most Doors songs, in my mind, and I, maybe if I went through their entire discography, I would be proved wrong. But in my mind, a Doors song is about, like, 15% vocals and 80% keyboard solo. That's like the general makeup of a Doors song in my mind. And the Doors version had, there was almost no soloing. It was only about 2 minutes and 10 seconds long. Like, it was short.
Yeah.
It was concise. It was to the point. It's catchy. And so the Echo and the Bunnymen version, Bunnymen. It was only about 3.5 minutes long, so a reasonable song length.
Right.
But they added about 1.5 minutes of keyboard solo, making it feel significantly more like a Doors song
than the Doors version
did. And more so, I usually associate the like electric piano, like keyboard sound with Doors songs, and this was much more of like a honky tonk, like you're busting through the saloon doors with your 6-shooters ready to go. So I thought that was really interesting. That
yeah, it really was.
The cover felt more like I expected the original to feel.
Yeah, I think that's a really solid point. Like they updated some of the synth sound a little bit to where when the song first started, you can tell like, okay, this kind of does sound like it was updated for something that would have been released in the 80s, but other than that, really, it's not too far away from the Doors version.
Right, they're surprisingly similar. Now, there was a little bit of a difference in the little accent between,
Right.
like, at the stops.
Mm-hmm.
The Doors version was much more of the
Whalish.
the whale songs.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the Bunnymen version was much more of this, like, you know,
It's like an alien.
Walian.
Walian.
More like it was more Walian than anything.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, Walian abduction is nothing to joke about, folks.
Walian.
But yeah, they were surprisingly similar. I do have to say, I have a certain affection for the Bunnymen version of the song, because it was in a certain film that we've discussed on a previous episode. Now, it does not...
There was no saxophone.
There
in
was no
this
sexy
version,
saxophone.
though.
Tim
Yeah.
Capello did not make an appearance.
He also didn't make an appearance on the song that we thought he did make an appearance on.
That's true.
In the previous
That's
episode.
true, but he did make an appearance in The Lost Boys. Raphael Ravenscroft also did not make an appearance.
Raphael Ravenclaw.
Gryffindor. This is just a show full of callbacks.
A lot of
folks.
callbacks in this episode. Go watch previous episodes of
you
Uncovered if you have no idea what we're talking about.
If you haven't been watching this show up till now, probably half of what we've said has made no sense, and that's your fault.
Michael, I think they think that we're strange.
Well, we're strangers to them right now.
That's
so
true, yeah.
You need to go back, become familiar with us, and then we won't seem strange.
That's true.
Our faces will also look less ugly. Unless you're alone. Well, shall we reveal what each of us picked?
Let's do it.
All right, 3.
This was a hard choice, by the way.
It was. It was very, very difficult.
Right down to the line.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So, you went with the original, or as we call it on this show, the Uncover.
The Uncover.
So,
yes, I did.
So why the preference?
You know, like I was saying right before we revealed that, it was a really tough choice because there's not, other than the extra part that Echo and the Bunnymen added, which sounded like it probably should have been there in the first place, there's really not a whole lot of difference between these two. So I kind of feel like the Echo and the Bunnymen version is a really well done cover, but not necessarily a really original sounding cover.
Okay, that's fair.
It's interesting too because you brought up that you're not really much of a Doors fan. I'm also, to be honest with you, I'm also not much of a Doors fan.
Okay.
Like, if I was going to pick a band to listen to, just to listen to their catalog, out of these two, I would probably pick Echo and the Bunnymen, to be honest with you. but yeah, I mean, like, while I really enjoy their cover, I don't know, I don't think there was just really enough that they did to it to make me say that this is better than the original thing.
That's fair, and I will say, if you're not a Doors fan, this is actually a good song for you, because I feel like a lot of the things that I don't like about the Doors aren't in this song.
Yeah.
And if it were not for the fact that I'm more familiar with and bear more affection for the Bunnymen version, specifically because of the connection to the Lost Boys, I probably would have gone with the Doors version, because actually I think it's one of their more unique tracks as far as, like, the piano sounds, the really concise, catchy melody, the stops and starts. I think it's it's kind of a standout track in their catalog.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right, so when you were seeing the fast motion and listening to the songs, part of what we were doing, we were selecting what we thought was best. We were also making a guess at what one another would think was better, and that was what we were writing on those CDs. So shall we reveal what our picks for one another are?
Sure. So this is what Michael picked for me, what he thought I would pick.
And this is what Kevin picked for me. So Kevin thought that I would choose the Doors, 3 of them to be specific.
3 doors. Technically 4.
Is that a pet door?
Yeah,
in
it's
that
a
one?
pet door.
That was incorrect.
Yeah, I suppose it was.
And what did I pick, Kevin?
Michael also picked the Doors. And he was correct. And his reasoning was, I'm scared of Walian abduction. Which I am. That's a real thing.
You should be.
And if you're not scared of it, you should be.
Exactly.
If you're not scared of it, you're not paying attention. All right.
So that means that you didn't get a point.
I did not get a point.
And I did get a point.
You did get a point.
My recollection is that we were at 7 to 10, so we're now at 7 to 11.
I wanted a rhyme. We're songwriters.
You just wanted a Slurpee.
I saw. Well, who doesn't? I mean, let's be honest.
Fair.
Slurpees are delicious. If you don't like Slurpees, you're not paying attention.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Uncovered. If we don't get abducted by Walians, we will see you again next week. Make sure that you subscribe to the Permanently Geek channel, which is what this show is on. If you enjoyed this, lots of other shows on here. Kevin recently at least lost an eye, if not his life, on the show. Play It, Smash It. And also, we discovered that he's quite the hand with the batarang. So you should check that out. And
there's movie commentaries as well.
Indeed.
I saw my first Superman movie thanks to Permanently Geek.
And your worst Superman movie too.
Yeah. By default.
And the best one you've ever seen as well.
I've ever seen too.
So be sure you subscribe and follow the channel for all the new stuff that we'll have coming out soon. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Go ahead and say it.
Bunnymen.
All right.
Bunnymen.
Ah.
Bunnymen.